faithful Niner Empire. What's good? You know who it is. It's your boy, J in the Bay. And once again, it is a pleasure. It is a pleasure and an honor to be in front of the best fans in the NFL, the faithful, the Niner Empire. It's about that time. It is playoff time. Obviously, I thought we would have a better record coming into this game, the playoff season. But hey, we're in, and doesn't really matter what else happens after this point. We're in the playoffs, and it's time for us to play our best ball. I do have a special guest with me today. He is representing them good old Dallas Cowboys. He goes by the name of Bluff City Cowboys. And also shout out to everyone watching J YouTube, J Twitter, J Facebook. I appreciate everyone coming through. Hopefully everyone's having a great Saturday morning. But let's bring this gentleman in. I gotta say, what's good? How you doing today, man?
Man, good morning, Jay. What's up, man? Appreciate you inviting me out. It's never a bad time to talk Cowboys or Niners football, no matter how early or how late.
Hey, I agree with you, man. It's weird because we haven't really faced each other in the playoffs this century, basically.
Yeah.
So it's good to finally see the Niners and Cowboys meet again. Obviously, we have the rich history from the 70s, 80s, and then the early 90s. But man, both teams are really talented. I think this will be a close game. But I got to get started with how long you been a Cowboys fan, man? How long you been repping them boys?
Man, I've been a Cowboys fan my whole life. It's hereditary. Got it from my mom. My mom was a diehard Cowboys fan. Just growing up watching all the games. Got a chance to go to a couple games as a kid, and just always rep the blue, man. It's in me.
Hey, I feel you, man. I've been a Niner fan since I was born as well, man. Didn't really start watching the games till like the late 90s. But man, I've been, red and gold ever since then. So I gotta ask you, why did you come up with the crazy idea to talk to strangers in front of a camera on the internet?
Dude, it's crazy. I'm a complete introvert, like in real life. So doing this is completely out of my character for my friends and family to see me do it. But pandemic hit, and my side business is video and photography.
Okay.
So when the pandemic hit, of course, there were no events going on, so I couldn't film none or take no pictures. So I had to make a little office in my house, and my office is literally right here. So all my camera equipment is right behind me, behind these two Cowboys things.
Okay.
I'm just sitting there working one day. I'm like, you know what? I got a camera right there I'm not using. I got a microphone right there I'm not using. I got all this Cowboy stuff that I've gotten for birthdays and Christmas. And during the pandemic, all I was doing was watching Cowboys podcast. And I was like, you know what? I know just as much, if not more, than that guy.
Right.
So why not just go ahead and get in front of the camera myself? And that's pretty much how Bluff City Cowboy got started. Linked up with a great guy named Lambo at Cowboys, y'all. And we started our podcast called The Cowboy Zone.
Hey, man, and the rest is history, man. That's definitely a great decision that you guys made. Man, it's always good to. I can tell from watching you, this is definitely your passion. Give me one second.
Do your thing.
Hold on one second. Take that off. I can definitely tell from watching your videos, man. You are a passionate Cowboys fan. You know what you're talking about. And when I was on your channel, and for those that don't know, me and Bluff City, we did do a collab on his channel as well. I didn't mention it to you, but I like your
Jay, I think you froze on me. That's a good screensaver though. If you can find a way to save it, you should save it. All right. Well, while Jay gets that taken care of, I do some of his work for him. I see we got Kimbo Honia in the house joining. So Kimbo, thank you for joining. I'm sure you guys are all Niners fans. We got Niner Faithful joining also. Niner Faithful, thank you for tuning in on an early Saturday morning. And I guess that's Laugh Not Famous, or I guess that's an L. Laugh Not Famous. Thank you for tuning in. Then I see we got Sean Tuber joining also. I see you said your hype for this upcoming game is going to be a good one. It's definitely a lot of chips on the table. I'll hold it down a little bit for Jay until he gets back. So, guys, get in the comments and let me know how you're doing, and let me know what you think about the Niners game. Feels kind of weird being a Cowboy fan, and I'm front and center on a Niners podcast, but we'll make it do what it do on a Saturday morning. Payo time. I see you got Payo time. Rams YouTuber. I guess you're coming in to find out a little bit more about the team that just beat you guys. So thank you for joining. And Andre Shamus or Shamus. Yeah, Jay did get stuck in the Matrix. You said you think he's fast forwarding to see who wins tomorrow. I hope it's some good news for us, honestly. Yeah, Blue True, thank you, man. Even though I'm a Cowboys podcaster, we're all a part of the podcast family. So if one of us falls, somebody got to step in and pick them up. So I'm glad you guys haven't left, because you see all this blue in the background, and you're gonna stick with me until Jay gets back. Jay said he's reconnected right now, so hopefully he'll be back in a few minutes. Yeah, it's definitely, it's weird for me, because of course I didn't expect to be front and center by myself with all this red and black in the background on the screen. But I appreciate you guys welcoming me into your home, and I definitely looking forward to this game. Payo Time has a question. He says, "What will Cowboys fans think if they lose this game?" As a Cowboys fan, well, I mean, let me preface it by saying this: I'm a realistic fan. I'm a football nerd. I'm not the type of person that just focuses hardcore on my team. I try to follow all teams, so I have a little bit more of a realistic perspective in the game. So honestly, so far this has been a good season. Of course, we want to see them go to the Super Bowl, but as a realistic Cowboy fan, even I would be disappointed if we lose in the wild card round. Hopefully we can get through this. And the next part you asked about, does Dak have more pressure? I think the whole team has more pressure, because looking at this year, you look at all of the success we've had defensively that completely came out of nowhere. And then offensively, you look at Dak breaking all these records. We got the 12-5 record going into the season, got the 3 seed. We really expect more this year. So the more diehard fans are gonna lose their minds if we lose this game. For me, I'll be upset about it, but it gives me a lot of hope for next year, because we've seen a lot of growth in our team over the past 2 years. Yeah, pay your time, Sean Tuber. Yeah, no problem. Yeah, I don't mind supporting. I hold this thing down until we can get Jay back in here. So hopefully he can reconnect and get in here soon. So guys, until Jay gets back, if you guys have any Cowboys questions, feel free to hit me up with them. And Blue True, I see you sent 1049. I'm sure Jay appreciates that quite a bit. I know you must be a long time supporter to send that amount of money. So thank you for supporting Jay and supporting your team. Payo Time asks one more question. If you could spend one day at Disney World with one player from the Cowboys, past, present, or future, who would you pick? Man, that's a good question. I'm from a different generation, so I can't go back to the 70s and 80s like some people can. Man, you always got to go Prime. I mean, just watching Prime from Florida State in the late 80s, he's always seemed like an entertaining guy. Definitely the type of guy, if you want to have fun, that's the type of person you want to be around. And I would have to go Deion Primetime Sanders on that one. I know a lot of you Niners fans will probably have that as your answer as well because he spent some time in Dallas and San Francisco. I see Jay just got back in the comments saying he's trying to reconnect. So hopefully we can get him back soon. Boy, Payo time just coming with the questions. He says, "Is telling the girl on the first date that you're a football fanatic a good idea?"
Sorry about that, guys. My internet went down, man. But thank you, Bluff City, for
Oh, did we lose you again?
holding it down.
Okay.
You can hear me well?
I can hear you, but your screen keeps freezing.
Oh, okay, it keeps freezing. Okay. Well, I'm gonna see what I can do, man. But thank you for holding it down. But let's get into this matchup. I had a few questions for you. Let's get into it. Did you see the 49ers and Cowboys all-pro players list?
I did see that.
And who is on the Cowboys list?
On the Cowboys, of course, Trayvon Diggs, league leading interceptor, Micah Parsons, defensive player of the year, and Zach Martin, Mr. Reliable.
Yeah.
One of the all-time greats, those three.
Hey, yeah, great selections, and I'm looking forward to see those players up close and personal. Because I honestly haven't really watched too many Dallas Cowboys games, but obviously we've heard a lot of great things, and I'm looking forward to this matchup. On the Niners side, we had Trent Williams, we had Debo,
of course.
Yeah. Of course. Second team, I think we had Kittle and Bosa. And there was some controversy about that Bosa pick. I think Max Crosby got picked over him, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
But hey, to get even nominated is it's a blessing anyway. So, and shout out to everyone in the comments. My apologies for the internet, but thank you all for tuning into the show today. Let's see, Blue True, appreciate that 1049 super chat. Hot diggity dog. Blue True says excited for this it's awesome matchup. Go 49ers and Cowboys. We also have Kimbo in the building. What's good? Thanks for tuning into the stream, Kimbo. Hopefully all is well for you on a Saturday morning. We also got Niner Faithful in the house. What's good? Morning, Jay. 49ers versus Cowboys. Rivalry renewed. Absolutely. We got LAF Not Famous, who is an Atlanta Falcons fan. We did a YouTube collab when we played each other. Man, thanks for tuning into the stream, man. Hopefully all is well on a Saturday
that name.
Yeah, you said what?
I said I butchered that name.
Oh, yeah. And we got Sean Tuber in the building. What's good? Thanks for tuning in, man. Hey, man, you're almost monetized, man. Congratulations, man. You're almost there. And then you can, start making a little bit of coin on this YouTube, man. So congrats to you, man. You are almost there. Now this Cowboys defense last year, it was atrocious.
Yes.
It was putrid.
That's a good word. Those are two good words to describe it.
Yeah, man. So what's been this turnaround? Because I feel like watching the Cowboys over the last few years, that's been one of their issues. Like the offense has been pretty good. They're holed up their end, but this defense really has struggled. But this has been a complete turnaround this year. What have been a few contributing factors to that turnaround this year?
Dan Quinn, plain and simple. We had Rod Marinelli for the past decade, and the game passed him by probably 9 years ago. So a lot of what we saw was just him not being in tune with what's going on in the game right now. And then in 2020, they had the bright idea of bringing in Mike Nolan, another guy who the game had passed by, and it showed in how we played because we got worse. And the players lost respect for him pretty quickly. So this year they brought in Dan Quinn, a defensive coordinator that you know him from the Legion of Boom. He's a fairly young coach, energetic. He understands the game, and he just completely shifted the way we do things in terms of how we run our scheme, as well as the type of players that we bring in. Because I'm sure as a Niners fan, you watch and you always hear every year free agency, our players that we bring in get hype for no reason. And I'm saying this as a Cowboys fan. They bring in a bunch of guys with names and they don't produce. This year, Dan Quinn brought in a bunch of guys that nobody knows, and they've all just been stepping up and making us play better. And one of those guys is J. Curse, who's another guy who's been a major part of our turnaround.
Yeah, and I noticed you guys brought in, Keanu Neal. He used to play with the Falcons under the current defensive coordinator. I don't know why what's his name again?
Keanu Neal,
the defensive coordinator.
Oh, Dan Quinn.
Dan Quinn. I keep forgetting his name. Dan Quinn. So yeah, Keanu Neal played under Dan Quinn in Atlanta. There's no doubt you guys you drafted probably one of the best draft picks in the first round this year, Michael Parsons. And then you got Diggs as well, who's a top-notch corner, young up-and-coming corner. So, yeah, this defense definitely has turned around. And I feel like this is one of the most complete Cowboys teams, I've noticed. I mean, since Romo days, I feel. So, it's definitely good to see. It's going to be really, really competitive. Sean Tuber says, I'm so hyped for this upcoming game. It's going to be a good one. A lot of chips on the table. Niners are all in. Hey, man, I completely agree with you. We got Payo Time. What's good? Who's an LA Rams fan, man? Thanks for tuning into the stream. You might see a few different NFL teams represented in this stream. Bluff City, because I encourage all NFL fan bases to watch the stream, watch intheBay, especially if you're in the NFC West. Obviously the Rams are in the NFC West, so it's good to have tabs and see what's going on.
Got to know your enemy
on your teams. Exactly. Got to know the enemy. Exactly. Andre is in the building. What's good? Andre says, what's good, Jay? Got stuck in the Matrix. I did. He said he is fast forwarding to see who wins tomorrow. Yeah. Let's see. We got to talk about this, man. It may not be a big deal, but if you were a player in the locker room and you saw Amari Cooper and CeeDee Lamb at the Dallas Mavericks game, sitting courtside, doing their thing without mask on, how would you feel if you were a teammate of theirs in the locker room, knowing it's playoff time? We can't afford nobody to go down with COVID or nothing like that. How would you feel about that?
I don't want to start a COVID debate in your comments, and then you add on top of that, they're both unvaccinated, and we found that out after they tested positive the first time. My thoughts on that is, football players only have 4 months a year to make money. That's all we have. 8 months of the year, you can go out, you can get wild, you can get crazy. For 4 months of the year, 16, 17, 20 weeks, I need you dedicated to one thing, and that's try to win a championship. And I just feel like it's completely irresponsible for your two best players who know they're unvaccinated to be sitting courtside without mask on. If not for the health reasons, just the optics of it. Like, how fickle fan bases are, and people will turn on players in a heartbeat. And to see that up front, up close and personal, is just completely uncalled for.
Yeah. And if that would have been some 49er players doing that, I mean, it's good. Yeah, you want to go out, whatever, but just do it responsibly. And nowadays, in a public setting, if you don't have a mask on, it's considered, unresponsible. So, hopefully nothing comes of that, for the Cowboys' sake. But yeah, I just wanted to get your thoughts on that and, see how you felt. Payo Time has a question for you, Bluff City. He says, what will Cowboys fans think if they lose this game? Does Dak have more pressure on him now than ever, especially inking that big contract?
So while you were gone, Payo Time asked a bunch of questions, and I already went through them.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, basically what I said was, as an objective Cowboys fan, even I'll be upset if they lose this game, because the expectations are a little bit higher with the way our defense and offense are playing and all the records they're breaking. And I think Dak definitely will have some more pressure, because he's at the point of his career where you have to prove whether or not you're elite. Even in our fan base, some fans feel like Dak is a top 3, top 4 quarterback. Some people even feel like he shouldn't even be a starter. So there's a wide range in Cowboys Nation about how they feel about Dak. And losing this game, will definitely give the ones that we call the haters a lot more fuel to the fire.
Yeah, that's interesting because I don't think Dak is elite.
I don't
I
either.
think on his best day, yeah, I think on his best day he could be top 10, top 12. It seems like he puts up numbers against teams like the Cowboys are clearly better than,
Mm-hmm.
but when he goes up against the more elite competition, the Niners, we'll see. We'll see
We'll
how he
see.
performs. We'll see. I mean, we'll see. I think Dak's got talent. He's good. He just hasn't had that signature playoff run. He just hasn't done it at a consistent level over a period of time yet. But the 49er fans, just to piggyback on that comment, we feel the same way about Jimmy. Some people love him. Some people want him gone. Some people said, hey, we should have started Trey Lance at the beginning of the year. I thought we should have stuck with Jimmy based on what I've seen. And Trey is a rookie. He didn't play really Division I football. He only played one game the previous year. And if you got Jimmy G, he's making $25 million. I would have understood if you traded Jimmy in the offseason last year and then you want to stick with Trey. All right, we'll go with that. But since Jimmy's on the roster, Jimmy was part of this team that went to the Super Bowl. I think we should stick with him. And hey, we went to the playoffs, so it was a good idea. And maybe we can trade Jimmy in the offseason to get some draft compensation for him. But talking about particularly the game, do you think the Cowboys? I know they got Zeke the Freak. They got Pollard. They want to run the ball. Do you think the Cowboys will run for over 100 yards in this game?
We talked about this a little bit Thursday night. That one is tricky. If we do run for over 100 yards, I think it'll be because Pollard has more to do with that than Zeke. And again, being a realistic Cowboy fan, I love Zeke, but Zeke does not have that same burst that he had 2 years ago. When I watch him make his cuts, he takes an extra step to get that cut back into the hole. He doesn't hit the hole the way he used to. And I feel like he's just a step slower. And that's what you expect from a 27-year-old running back. Yeah. So if they normally like to try to pound it with him, and he'll probably get 7, 8, 9 carries, 40-some yards. But if we need that chunk play, like you guys remember Tony Pollard did last year where he broke the tackle and then ran to the end zone, we're going to need some of those type plays to get over 100 from Pollard.
Okay. And that'll be, very interesting to see what happens because the 49ers run defense at the beginning of the year, like the first 2 months, wasn't really good. It was not meeting expectations. But since Armstead has kind of moved next to DJ Jones, it's helped not only the interior pass rush on, when the quarterback throws the ball, but it's also helped in defending the run. And so that'll be interesting because I know the Cowboys want to have a balanced attack, but I think they may have to, if they win, I don't think it'll be by running the ball. I think it'll be by, trying to beat this secondary, which has had its troubles, especially with penalties. So we'll see. But I asked that question because the Cowboys, they have an interesting record. When they don't run for over 100 yards, they only won one game out of 6 games this year. So I think that stat is pretty telling. And the 49ers run D, arguably top 5 in the last 2 months. So, we shall see. Romello Bell, what's good? Thanks for tuning into the stream. He says, what's good, Jay? This is the game we need. I can't wait. I'm counting down the hours. Sean Tuber says, how I became a Niners fan was watching the catch one with Joe and Dwight. I heard on the radio that Joe Montana was actually trying to throw the ball out the end zone. I don't know if that's true, but that's what I've heard. But it doesn't matter at this point. That was a great catch by Dwight and one of the most
iconic catches.
Exactly.
In football history.
Moments in football history. Not only Candlestick Park, but football history. So,
and it had to be against the Cowboys.
I know, right? Exactly. Andre says the history of our matchups is amazing. Winner pretty much goes on to win the Super Bowl. Yeah, that's definitely what's happened in the past. That's for sure. Let's see.
Let me say this on that comment real quick.
Yeah.
I said on my podcast 3 weeks ago, well, Cowboys fans have been upset with me because even before the matchup was chosen, I was telling everybody the one team I was afraid of was the Niners. And I'm not just saying this because I'm on your show. You can You guys can go look at my podcast from a month ago, and I was talking about this. I was saying I hope we don't get the 3 seed because I don't want to see the Niners. You guys are going to be scary in the playoffs, and I truly believe if we don't get you guys now, you guys have a clear path to the Super Bowl.
Wow.
And again, I'm not saying this because I'm on your show. I really believe you guys own your division rivals. So next round, you're probably going to get that winner. Green Bay struggles against teams who can rush with their front four. That's Aaron Rodgers' kryptonite. And you can go back and look at the last 3 NFC championship games to see that. And you guys match up well with Tampa. So I think we got to do it.
I agree. I agree with your assessment because we can get after the quarterback. We love to run the ball, and as you said, Green Bay. I think you can out physical Green Bay. We've done it in the past. Hell, we were up against Green Bay in the regular season with 40 seconds left, but we got Aaron Rodgers. So
yeah,
I think we match up well with them. And I would say, we did lose to the Cardinals twice in the regular season, but they were close games. And one of them, we lost to their backup quarterback. Like, that's one of the losses. It's Colt McCoy. We lost to Colt McCoy. Like, that's man, that's what I still don't get. We just didn't bring it that day. But sometimes that happens during the season. I gotta ask you about this Cowboys offensive line because the 49ers defensive line, that's kind of what we hang our hat on. I think that is the best unit on defense as a whole, and we have a lot of depth in that area. We know what Tyron Smith brings. We know what Zach Martin brings. Do you think there is a weak spot on this offensive line?
We have 2 weak spots. Well, we have one very weak spot and one that's a little inconsistent. I asked you about this on the podcast because I don't know. I asked you if you guys ever run any 3-4 or were any schemes where you put a D tackle on top of the center, and you said you guys normally stick to a base 4 defense. Yeah. Our center has been a problem all year. Tyler Biatish, he's a former 5th round pick, 2020 out of Wisconsin. Very talented guy. He's actually gotten better as the season progressed, but the first 5 weeks we were very concerned about him. He still has a lot of mental errors, and when guys play head up on him, it's usually a problem. Go back to Denver and Kansas City game where they were isolating Chris Jones on him, and Chris Jones had 3.5 sacks on the inside. We also got our left guard and Connor Williams, a guy that struggles with strength. So I'm a little bit concerned about that DJ Jones matchup because that's a very powerful guy. And Connor Williams has some penalty problems too. I think he still leads the league in penalties. I think he averages like 1 a game. So those are our 2 biggest weak spots on our offensive line.
And it's interesting because I did mention in our live stream before that Nick Bosa, he's been rotating. Sometimes he'll be on the right, sometimes he'll be on the left. And I have seen him like kind of blitz through that center guard gap. So I wouldn't be surprised if maybe there is a blitzer that goes, head up with the center, or maybe they put Bosa there. I'm sure D'Amico Ryans has seen that. I'm sure he's seen the weaknesses on the Cowboys offensive line. So we may see that on Sunday. And you mentioned the penalties as well. Now, one thing about the Cowboys, they do a lot of things well, but one thing they don't do well is those penalties. They lead the league in penalties.
I'm a glass half full guy. We do that well. We lead the league in penalties.
Y'all do that well. Man, well, we've had our issues with penalties as far as like defensive pass interference, but we've kind of cleaned that up, especially with Josh Norman not starting. He didn't even get any defensive snaps last week.
Yeah.
So hopefully we can clean that up. But yeah, I appreciate you giving us that analysis on the weak spot of the offensive line. I have to say the Niners do have some weak spots as well. Obviously, we know the left side is stout with Lincoln Thomason, Trent Williams. I think Alex Mack has been doing a pretty good job. But right guard, Brunskill, he can get pushed back. And also Tom Compton, he is a backup right tackle. So there could be opportunities for the Cowboys defensive line to hey, get some pressure on Jimmy G.
Yeah.
We have Jesus in the building. What's good? Thanks for tuning in to the stream. We also have Bucks Skull Gang in house. What's good? He says, hi, everyone. And if you guys are enjoying the stream, you're ready for some 49ers Cowboys football, if you're ready for the rivalry to be renewed, make sure you hit that thumbs up button. Make sure you subscribe. And also check out Bluff City Cowboys. All his social media links are in the description of this video. IG, Twitter, YouTube. Make sure you check him out if you're enjoying what you're hearing. Let's see. Would you categorize the Cowboys as a physical team?
You know what? That's been going around social media and news broadcast all week. Dallas this year is definitely a physical team. Our defense under Dan Quinn has taken that next step. We got all the prima donnas out of here. We got Byron Jones out. We got Chidobe Awuzie out. Talented guys, but they're not physical. We got rid of Jalen Smith, who's basically just a name, in my opinion, at this point. And we brought in dogs finally. Trayvon Diggs in his second year has finally gotten a chance to kind of take on that leadership role. We got our heavy hitter Donovan Wilson at safety. We brought in J-Ron Curse, which I talked about before. He's just come in and just completely changed the level of physicality in our front seven as a safety linebacker hybrid. And we also got Neville Gallimore back, a guy that most fans around the league don't know about. He was a 2019 draft pick, 300 pounds, ran a 4.7. So he's a big athletic freak. He came in this year. He put on about 20 pounds, and it looks like he kept most of his athleticism. And he's just been a battering ram on the inside for us. He's dealt with a lot of injuries. So another reason people don't know his name is because he missed the first 9 games last year, and he missed the first 11 games this year. So now he's back. And since about week 11, week 12, if you look at our record and how our team has performed in terms of sacks, he's a major part of that, bringing it on the inside.
Yeah, and that's going to be an intriguing matchup. I think last week the 49ers offensive line did a pretty good job. And I think we only allowed 3 sacks, I believe, to that Rams defensive front, which is pretty good, led by Aaron Donald, Leonard Floyd. And this was without Trent Williams, the big silverback, best left tackle in the NFL. So I'm looking forward to that matchup. I think, Michael Parsons, I know what he's going to do. I think the key, let me run this by you. I think Michael Parsons, obviously, hell of a talent, could be in the near future one of the best defensive players in the NFL. Well, I guess you could say that now. But I think Shanahan is going to use his lack of experience in the NFL against him. And what I mean by that is all the pre-snap motion that Shanahan does. You don't know if it's a run or a pass. I think he will use Michael Parsons' aggressiveness against him.
Yeah.
And I think that's what Shanahan normally tends to do. Usually the top players don't have their career games against the 49ers because of all the things we can do on the offensive side of the ball. But I'm looking forward to the matchup because I know Parsons, he can wreak havoc. And obviously he is a huge star to watch on Sunday. And I'm excited to see him in person, just from a fan perspective. I'm just excited to see him in person. So,
and that's a good point that you bring up because week 1 against Tampa Bay, his very first game, Tom Brady exploited him, like plain and simple. They were throwing all over the top of his head. They were doing all type of shifts. He would jump in, go back. He didn't know where he was.
Yeah.
But since that game, he has not given up a catch when he's in coverage. So we don't put him in coverage a lot, of course, because he's so valuable to our pass rush. But when he has been in coverage, he's been fairly well. So I'm definitely looking forward to seeing that.
Yeah. So obviously we got George Kittle. Last week he didn't really have, a wow game as far as statistically. I think part of that because Trent Williams was out, we used Kittle as a blocker.
Yeah.
But Kittle this week, would you want Michael Parsons on George Kittle?
We you know what? Since that Tampa Bay game, we don't really put Parsons on tight ends anymore.
Okay.
He mostly covers running backs. The tight end responsibilities usually go to the other linebackers, or it goes to Big J-Ron Curse, who I talked about quite a bit. We just found out Keanu Neal is out this week, and he's been a big part of our tight end coverage from the linebacker room. So now we're gonna have to rely on Leighton Vander Esch, who's he's a big linebacker, 6'5", 260, but his movement skills aren't the way they used to be. So we're all gonna find out together how Dallas is gonna handle George Kittle, because usually there's a lot of Keanu Neal involved. So I'm looking forward to seeing that matchup as well.
And that's breaking news to me. I thought Keanu Neal would play this week. So you're saying he is out tomorrow?
Yeah, we got it. I think we got the notice last night that said Keanu Neal was officially ruled out.
Oh wow, okay. I did not know that.
It was last night.
Wow.
And so I was gonna say our next man up is a guy named Justin Gifford, career backup. We're really being a linebacker right now.
Wow. Okay. Hey, I mean that's breaking news to me. I think that could definitely have an effect on the game, on the Cowboys defense. That's for sure. So we'll see how that plays out tomorrow. Bucks Skull Gang. I'm excited as you are, man. I wish I had today off from work. I wish I could stay home and watch these games, man. But it's going to be an exciting weekend. That's for sure. Sean Tooper brings up a great point. NFC East wasn't that great this year. We'll see how the Cowboys do against NFC West opponents in the playoffs. I think looking at your schedule, I think that's kind of been the knock at least the last 6 weeks. I mean, you played the Giants a few times. You played the Eagles. What would you say, and I'm putting you on the spot. I didn't ask you this beforehand, but this just came to mind.
Okay.
What do you think is your signature win over the last 2 months over like an elite playoff caliber team?
Oh, man, that's a good question. I would probably have to go back to New England. When we went to New England and we handled business, got the pick 6 with Trayvon Diggs. It was a good game. Since then, New England has kind of fallen off the past 4 weeks. But during that time, New England was the number 1 seed in the AFC, even over Kansas City and Tennessee. And they were really handling their business. So I would probably have to say going to New England and winning that game.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, that is a pretty good win. That is a pretty good win. Anytime you could win up in Foxborough against Bill Belichick, hey, that's a pretty good win. And I think, looking at the last 2 months, I mean, you guys did lose to the Broncos. You beat the brakes off the Falcons, which, of course, you lose to the Chiefs. But, hey, the Chiefs are one of the best teams, in the AFC. You had a close game against the Raiders that you lost in OT. You beat the Saints. And you lost to the Cardinals, which, hey, we lost to the Cardinals twice. So,
yeah.
So they're obviously a pretty good team. But we'll see. I'm excited for this matchup. I think obviously both teams match up really well.
Can I say something else real quick? Because I want to address that.
Sure.
Tom Brady for 15 years played in the worst division in NFL. The Bucks were awful. I mean, not the Bucks. Buffalo was awful. Miami was awful. And who's the third team? The Jets are just shouldn't even be an NFL team. Tom Brady ran shop through that division for 15 years and nobody had a problem with it. And Dallas has 1 year where the division is somewhat down.
Yeah.
Even though we do have the Eagles in as a 7 seed.
Yep.
And if Washington didn't implode week 16, they would have probably made it. Or they would have been in the running for the 6 with you guys. So it wasn't as bad as people try to make it out to be.
Okay.
We just dominated.
That's true. And that's a great point you bring about the Patriots. I'm trying to think during that run. I think the Jets were probably good with Rex Ryan and Sanchez for a few years.
Maybe
outside of that, the Bills weren't really good. And the Dolphins, they haven't really been relevant either. So, hey, that's a great point. But that's what I'm gonna hang my hat on. Y'all just ain't played nobody this year, man.
Hey, it ain't how you start, it's how you finish.
Hey, we know that from last week being down 17-0. So we definitely know that. JKS is in the building. I appreciate that $10 donation. He says, Jay in the Bay. It turns out JB told me it was on an Alcatraz tour. You were spotted in the Baker Mayfield jersey. This is an ongoing joke with JKS where he says he spotted me wearing a Baker Mayfield jersey. But I appreciate you watching the stream, and hopefully you are enjoying, man. Have a great weekend. enjoy this playoff football, man. Let's see. I gotta know who is your Dallas Cowboys offensive X factor this Sunday. If the Cowboys win, who's going to be the most important player on offense, in your opinion?
I hate to do this. I got to give 2 for offense because 1, you brought up the great statistic about us in 100-yard games. I feel wholeheartedly if we hit 100 yards, it has to be because Tony Pollard has led the way with a couple of big runs. So I think just off that statistic, Tony Pollard has to be an X factor. That's one I threw in. The one I was going to say originally is our slot receiver, Cedric Wilson. He had a great game last week against Philly. He's kind of the forgotten man between Coop, Lamb, and Gallup. But he comes in, he has a good rapport with Dak. He understands the scheme, which is something that even I don't think Gallup does. And he knows how to read coverages and find spots to get open. So if you guys do a good job against Coop and Lamb, we're going to expect for we're going to expect for Wilson to find some spots in that secondary and keep the chains moving. That's kind of his job. And also on top of that, he's our trick play guy because he played quarterback in high school and a little bit in college. So I'm putting it out there right now. You guys can expect to see at least one wide receiver pass from Cedric Wilson. It's coming.
Okay.
I can guarantee
it. Yeah, I was going to ask you about Cedric Wilson because obviously you guys lost Gallup for the season with the torn ACL. That's very unfortunate, especially in a contract year. Yeah. And Cedric Wilson, he's basically the next man up. And we have our own slot corner in K'Wan Williams, who missed last week due to COVID, but he should be active and ready to go tomorrow versus the Cowboys. So looking forward to that matchup between Wilson and K'Wan Williams. And how tall is Cedric Wilson?
6'4". All of our receivers are 6'3" or 6'4".
So he's got a few inches on K'Wan. So that will be an interesting matchup, out there. Now, my offensive X factor for the 49ers, I could go a variety of ways. Actually, no, before I do that, I have to mention, you said Tony Pollard, right? I was looking at Tony Pollard's stats from the last 2 months. He's only had over 70 rushing yards in 2 games in the last 2 months. That was against the Giants and the Saints.
Yeah.
I know he's coming back from injury, right? Didn't he get hurt? He was out for a few weeks.
He was out for a few weeks.
Okay. So, I mean, I think our defense, I would go out on a limb and say our run defense is better than the Giants and Saints. I'm go out on a limb and say that.
Now, it's debatable about the Saints now, but definitely the Giants.
Yeah. Now, the Saints they got a pretty good run defense as well. But against the Saints, he had 7 carries, 71 yards, and a touchdown. He averaged about 10 yards a carry. I'm not sure what his long was on that, but I mean, he hasn't really been that productive. I don't know if the Cowboys are kind of saving him for the playoff push, or he just okay.
This is the thing about Tony Pollard, and this is why I say he's an X factor.
Okay.
We don't use him consistently because they refuse to give some of the reign away from Zeke. So I'm sure those 2 games, those are probably the only games Pollard had more than 9 carries in. Pollard is an explosive guy. He's going to give you that 20-yard chunk. I think Zeke's probably only had 4 runs over 20. Pollard may have 3 times that. And Pollard, I believe, is second in the NFL in average yards per carry behind Rashad Penny. So he's a big play guy. And like I said Thursday night, since you guys run so much zone on the back end and rely on your front 4, I'm just hoping if he can get past that front 4, he can make it happen. So I don't think he's going to be a consistent gashing you guys.
Yeah.
I'm looking for that one big play.
That one big run.
Yeah.
Okay. And going back to his stats, like the first 6 games, or I should say, after you guys played Tampa Bay, the next 5 games he had double-digit carries.
Mm-hmm.
And then he didn't have double-digit carries until later on in the season after that for whatever reason. So you guys were using him steadily, but I guess you guys kind of backed off of that. But no, that's a great point. We can't afford to let him go for a 25, 30-yard gain. We're going to have to, stop him at the line of scrimmage, or our secondary are going to have to come up and make tackles.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing him going up against this 49ers run defense, because it's been greatly improved. And my X factor, man, I could go Deebo Samuel. Man, it doesn't matter if you tuck that chain. Deebo gonna find it. He gonna be coming for my. Now, I'm not gonna say he's gonna come for Michael Parsons, because I don't know if that's a good business decision on Deebo's part. but Michael Parsons did say, hey, I'm where I'm from. We beat up the bullies.
We bully the bullies. Yeah, that's a good line.
That's a good line. Well, Deebo, hey man, I'm putting this X factor on Deebo. I think Deebo will be a factor. The Cowboys fans know it. He's going to be a factor in the running game. He's going to get his 8 to 10 carries. He's going to get his catches at the wide receiver position. And then you also got to watch out for Elijah Mitchell, who is a 6th-round rookie drafted this year.
Mm-hmm.
Having an excellent year. He's dealt with some injuries, but he easily, if he was healthy all year, he would have had 1,500 rushing yards. He ended up with a little bit over 1,000, but he's going to be getting a bulk of the carries as well. I anticipate the Niners will run the ball easily 30. It won't be easy, but I'm saying we should run the ball at least 30 times and control the possession and control the clock and keep that high-powered Cowboys offense off the field. I think that's going to be part of our defense of game plan, is keep them off the field. So those are my X factors. It's going to be Elijah Mitchell and Deebo Samuel. And I think we should get a heavy dose of those 2 players.
Probably both in the backfield too.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. And I want to see more Jeff Wilson Jr., but we talked about this. He's just Mitchell. When Mitchell is the guy, he's the guy. And he's going to get the carries. It doesn't matter about, I guess you could say, spelling Mitchell with Deebo Samuel, I guess you could say.
Yeah. Let me ask you this question. On my show, we do something called over under, where we come up with certain stats in the game and decide whether it's going to be over or under.
Sure.
You guys are getting Trey Sermon back. Over under 5 carries for Trey Sermon this week.
Nilch. 0.
That's a 0.
0. Okay. I've heard a few Cowboys fans talk about Trey Sermon, and no doubt he was highly touted coming out of college. But he's just not a factor in this offense right now. He's just not a factor. He honestly, if he's on special teams, I could see that. I don't even know if he'll be active. I'm just being real. I don't know if he'll be active. He hasn't really gotten an opportunity. He's played on offensive snaps maybe in 3 games because he has battled injuries. He had the concussion early, and then the last month he's had the high ankle sprain. So I think if Mitchell and Deebo aren't getting carries, it could be Jeff Wilson Jr. or Jermichael Hasty. I just don't see Sermon being, active, or if he is, he'll just be on special teams.
Yeah. So. In your comments, somebody asked for my Cash App. My Cash App is L-DASH. L-DASH.
Okay.
The number 6, the number 4.
Okay.
So L-64.
L-64. Okay. I think they're still listening as well. I think that was Blue True.
Okay.
Who was asking for that. We have, let's see, let me go to these comments. I want to make sure I didn't forget. Andre says, first of all, we are on network TV and on Nickelodeon because that channel comes with basic cable, so it reaches the most amount of people. He's just salty because they used to be the Oilers and Texas ran them out. Okay. Yeah, I think this game will be on Nickelodeon.
It is.
Yeah, so, and I think Deebo Samuel won an award or whatever from Nickelodeon this past week. So
yeah,
hey, I haven't watched Nickelodeon in years, but hey, no problem with that.
I do like the thing they do with the slime in the end zone.
That is cool with the slime in the end zone. Yeah. Smooth Trucking, what's good? Thanks for tuning in to the stream. Hopefully all is well, man. We got Niner for life in the building. What's good? Thanks for tuning in. Also have John. He says Bosa lines up outside and swings around at the snap and rushes inside against guard and center sometimes. Yes, he does do that.
So you guys do a lot of what they call tackle in stunts.
Yes.
We do a lot of that too. We do a whole lot of it.
Absolutely. Let's see. We got Watkins Sports in the building. What's good? And I believe Mark is a Cowboys fan. I believe he says, "Wow, we couldn't get on. Curse will be on Kittle." Yeah, man. Just the timing wasn't right, man. But that'll be an interesting matchup. Curse, he is he like 6'4"?
He is.
Okay,
He's a big safety.
Okay. Did you guys? I never heard of him. Did you guys draft him this year?
No. Again, I'm a huge college football fan, and my favorite team is Clemson. J-Ron Curse is actually a Clemson guy. Mm-hmm. He played for Minnesota for the first 4 years of his career, and then he went to the Jets for 1 season, and then we signed him as a free agent. Super underrated guy. He was stuck behind Harrison Smith in Minnesota, which who can blame him? The best strong safety in the league. So he never got his chance to shine. He came to the team this year. I've been screaming since February that this guy would make a difference for this team. I've been putting out footage. I've been talking about how great he would be, and he's really shown up and made me look good, honestly. So definitely. He will be on Kittle some, but we don't do a lot of man on tight ends. We usually switch things up because we rely on him so much in our run game as well.
All right, and I'm definitely looking forward to seeing him matching up against Kittle. Hey, I think Kittle should be a more of a factor in this game compared to last week, since we got Trent Williams back. Now, going back to the opposite side of the ball, who is your Cowboys defensive X factor in this game against the Niners on Sunday?
Once again, I got 2 of them. I got to talk about them. Everybody knows Micah Parsons. That's the name everybody's going to throw out. We've got our 3-headed pass rush with Parsons, Gregory, and Demarcus Lawrence. My 2 X factors are, one, going to be J-Ron Curse, who I just talked about. We're going to need him in the run game. We're going to need him in the passing game because he is going to have to go out there and cover Kittle a little bit as well. And we also rely on him to set the edges because I know you guys love running a lot off tackle. So we're going to need him with that. And then the other guy is somebody I talked about at the beginning of the show, and that's Neville Gallimore. When he's in the game, our defense looks different. If you go back and look at our defense past week 11, it shows up on the stat book. He's big. He's physical. He's definitely our biggest defensive tackle that's playing. We have a lot of problems with depth at D tackle. So if he's out, it puts a lot of our lesser tackles to have to play more, and that's never a good thing. So we definitely need him in to help out with that run support as well. So those 2 guys are going to be key to us winning this game.
Okay. On the 49ers side of the ball, I'm going to go with cornerback Ambry Thomas. He's a rookie.
Michigan.
He's been playing pretty well. I would say the last month. I mean, honestly, he's really just been getting snaps. He basically hasn't been getting much snaps until I would say starting the last maybe 6 weeks. Other than that, he's basically just been a special teams player. But since the 49ers finally came to their senses and took Josh Norman out and finally giving a young guy a chance, he's been playing pretty well. And I think whoever he matches up with, whether it's Coop, whether it's Lamb, he's going to have to be able to hold his own, not hold, don't have any penalties, and make it very difficult for Dak to get the ball to his receiver.
That was a steal too.
Sorry, say it again.
Thomas was a steal in the late 3rd round.
Yeah, you think so?
I loved Avery. Again, I'm not saying this because I'm on your podcast.
Okay.
If anybody watches my podcast, they'll know I was extremely high on Ambry Thomas all season. That guy has the height, weight, speed that you look for, and he's very good in man coverage.
Hey, man, that's good to hear because, in training camp, obviously he didn't play the previous year. So I know Niners fans, and sometimes I do this too, we expect players to just get on the field and, you're a star. But it doesn't always happen like that. And going back to Aaron Banks, the guard we drafted from Notre Dame, he's taken some time to develop, and Ambry Thomas has taken his time to develop as well.
And Thomas wasn't a physical guy in college, so it's taking him a while to adjust to the physicality of the game.
Right, of the NFL, because it's a different game from college to the pros. It's definitely a different game. But I think Ambry Thomas, if he plays well, I think he could be a difference maker in this game. Obviously, opposite of him, Emmanuel Mosley, he's a veteran. I'm just expecting him to play well because that's what we've seen from him. And it's got to be the defensive line. I could go Bosa. I could go Armstead. I'm going to go with Armstead inside. I think he's very stout against the run. He could also get some good interior push. I think he had one of his best games of his career last week against the LA Rams, 7 tackles, a few for loss. I think he got at least 1 sack. So if Armstead can have a repeat performance, man, it's the sky's the limit. And we don't even have to talk about Bosa. We know what Bosa's going to do. He's going to question for you. Do you think when Bosa lines up on Tyron Smith, do you think they'll send help for Tyron Smith?
That's a good question. I would probably lean towards no, honestly.
Okay. I can see them not, and maybe bringing a running back or a tight end to chip Bosa, because he that has been a strategy that teams have done, is chipping him and just making him take more time to get to the quarterback. You know
what? When Tyron plays and he's healthy, they don't send anything his way. So Bosa has some opportunities.
Okay.
They put a lot of faith in Tyron man-to-man on anybody's defensive end.
Okay, all right. Hey, I'm looking forward to that one-on-one matchup, man. That's strength versus strength.
Yeah.
The wily vet going up against I guess he'd be considered a vet now in Bosa's third year.
And I'm sure you guys are the same way with Trent Williams.
Like, we don't send no help. No. Trent Williams don't need no help. Now on the right side with Compton, we may. It depends. Demarcus Lawrence, he normally lines up on the right side of the offensive line.
Who is that?
Demarcus Lawrence.
He lines up on the offensive right side. Yes.
Okay, so he'll be going up against Compton, and Demarcus Lawrence. I mean, he's a solid player. Obviously, when you add in the other players who are surrounding him, it helps his game. It elevates his game. But we'll see. He could have some opportunities against Tom Compton.
Yeah, so the problem's going to come in when they shift D-Law inside and then they put Parsons on their right tackle. That's what's going to be the matchup to watch.
Send help. I'm telling you, send help right now with Compton. Send help. We got Will Coulter in the building. What's
William Coulter? That's my guy right there, Cowboys.
He says it's okay. We got the best linebacker in the game in Parsons. Well, number 54 wearing the red and gold. He might have something to say about that. I'm sure he will make his presence felt. And also Greenlaw, he came back last week. He'll be lined up next to Fred Warner. Aziz, he's been practicing this week. He should be. So this is the healthiest this 49ers team has been all year. So, man, strength versus strength. And I hear the Cowboys are pretty, except for Keanu Neal. Is he the only major player who's going to be out tomorrow?
On the defense, yes. But he's a major part of our linebacker core because we lost Jabril Cox. Francis Bernard has been kind of just a guy. And we run pretty heavy nickel. So we only rely on 2 linebackers. So if one of those 2 linebackers is out, that's pretty disastrous for our linebacker group.
Okay.
We're probably going to see Jaron Curse play more of a linebacker role this week because of that.
Okay. Sean Tuber says, is Jaquiski Tartt playing at Dallas? He should be. I did not see him on the injury report listed as doubtful. So he should be. I mean, and Tartt has been on the injury report all year, but usually he's limited in practice, but usually he'll practice fully on Friday, and then he's good to go for the game. You got to say, what's good to the Cardinal Rule, who's an Arizona Cardinals fan. Thanks for tuning into the stream. Also, what's good to Young Hitter. Hopefully you have a wonderful day as well, man. Thanks for tuning in. All right, so it's the moment we've all been waiting for. It's prediction time.
All right.
Who wins on Sunday and why? And as you're doing your show, you like to do the 3 keys. Go ahead and give me a few keys as to why you think the Cowboys will be victorious on Sunday.
Okay, you want me to give you the three reasons why, or just what I think are the keys to us winning?
You can do both.
Okay. Well, the 3 keys to victory, I think, for us are: 1, Dak has to be mobile. You guys have a very good front four. Dak has been timid all year in running with the ball. If you guys watch tape, which I know you have a great defensive coordinator and he hasn't seen Dak running a lot, but Dak still has the ability.
Yeah.
So Dak has to give us some runs to get us in some second and short situations, or even convert some third and short third downs with his running ability. You guys run a lot of cover 2, cover 4. Our receivers have to take advantage of that, find the zones, get in there and make a bunch of catches. And then most importantly, we got to figure out a way to stop the run. We've been much improved this year in stopping the run, but at the same time, there's been a couple of games where we've been gashed. I look at Denver specifically, and I think you guys and your defense, your running back room is very similar to Denver's. You got a bunch of fast 4-3-4-4 guys who know how to one cut it. So I think those are the keys to us winning. But in order for us to win this game, we have to win the turnover battle. We're number 1 in turnovers in the league. You guys are somewhere lower part.
Yeah.
So we have to make sure we get our hands on the ball. We gotta hope we see a couple of bad Jimmy G sightings to help us get that. And we gotta find a way to limit Debo, because he takes over games. Not stop him, just limit him.
Yeah.
I see. I got my guy Terry Rudd in the comments. One of my close friends, but he's a diehard Niners fan.
Yeah, what's good, Terry?
Yeah, he said he was subscribed, so he's here.
I appreciate that, Terry. And he's got the Niners winning 33-29. What's your score prediction, Bluff City?
Bro, this is a tough one. I mean, it's a coin flip game. Very tough matchup. It could go either way. Yeah. I got us 27-24. It could just as easily go the other way. But we do very well at home. I know you guys are great in the red zone. Like, it's ridiculous. I think you guys are like 14 for 14 or some crazy stat.
Yeah, we've been on a hot streak.
We're really good in the red zone at home also. So it really just comes down to who converts those touchdowns and who does field goals.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I think my keys to the game, and there are a lot of keys, but I'm going to just stick with 3. I think third down defense is going to be key. I know the Cowboys offense on third down recently has been doing really well. And the 49ers defense on third down has struggled a little bit, especially when we play. I noticed when we play zone on third down and we can't get after the quarterback, usually they can find an open receiver. I've seen that, especially last week against the Rams in the first half. So I think third down defense will be key. We got to get off the field. We got to get stops and not allow this offense to gain momentum. So that's number 1. Number 2, of course, we got to feed the beast. We got to feed the stars. Debo and Elijah Mitchell got to eat. They have to be premier players in this game against the Cowboys. And we have to be consistent with the running game. One thing you got to give Shanahan credit for, last week we were down 17-3, but we still stuck with the run.
Yeah.
And that worked. Yeah. And that worked in our favor because we just basically out physical the Rams. So that's number 2, stick with the run. Number 3, I think it's going to be Kyle Shanahan versus Dan Quinn. I think that's the matchup that will be intriguing. They know each other really well. They used to work with each other in Atlanta. And I think Shanahan, just his run game is so different than anyone else's in the NFL. And he's able to, not allow your best player to have their best game. And it's just his schematics with the game, his run designs. I think they're going to confuse some of the Dallas Cowboys players, especially Micah Parsons. I don't know if he's seen this type of run game before. So that's what I'm banking on.
Yeah.
Shanahan's scheme, our third down defense, and we got to, have a consistent running game. I could go on and on about the keys, but I'm going to stick with 3. And I think the 49ers will win this game. It's going to be close. The Cowboys will, they're going to score some points. We're not going to hold them out or anything. I think we'll win this game 34-27.
Okay. All right. I see your guy Sean E Football put a question up asking about can the Niners defense slow down the Cowboys passing game. I saw an interesting stat that you guys are like last in defensing passes of 15 yards or more. And that's kind of our bread and butter. So that's going to be an interesting thing to pay attention to.
That will be, especially if we can't get to Dak, and if he's got top 4 or 5 seconds in the pocket, and he's comfortable, he's making calls, he's seeing where we're going after the game. If he's got time in the pocket, I mean, any NFL quarterback that got time in the pocket can find the open receiver, and that's definitely something that we struggled at. I mean, our corners, they're not the best, but a secondary's best friend is the pass rush, and we go 6, 8, sometimes even 10 deep on that defensive line. So, and like I said, the Cowboys, they'll score some points.
Yeah.
But I think in the end we will prevail, and I think it's going to be in the trenches. So, but that's a great question, man. It's a great question. I think we can slow it down. I don't think, obviously, I don't think the Cowboys are going to score 50 on us. No, but I think we can slow it down just enough to prevail. And that's going to be key. The Cowboys passing game against the Niners secondary, and I think the Cowboys defense versus the 49ers run game. So I think those will be, very, very crucial. Got to ask you this, man. It's been a pleasure having you on. For those that haven't heard of Bluff City Cowboys, make sure you check him out on his social media. All his social media links are in the description of this video. Check him out.
Yeah.
But this is probably going to be a tough question for you, but who is on your Dallas Cowboys Mount Rushmore? Now, we can do this 2 ways. We can do in the entire franchise, and then we could also, 4 players for the entire franchise, and then we can also do 4 players in the last 2 decades. We could do it like that. So who's on your list?
I only go back as far as 89 in terms of Cowboys. I'm going to give you the last 20 years anyway.
Okay, cool.
And it's 4. Man.
Yep. Only 4.
Oh. Man, I got to go to the 90s. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I got to go to my golden years. I know a lot of Cowboy fans going to say 70s, but for me it's the 90s. So you got to put the triplets up there. That's a given.
Yep.
So you got Troy, you got Emmett, you got Mike. And then my 4th one has to be Larry Allen. I played offensive line coming up through school, and Larry Allen was a guy that I always kind of watched and looked up to. Arguably one of the best guards of all time. I think he made like 7 straight All-Pros, and he was a big part of Emmett's rushing success. So the triplets plus Larry Allen.
Hey, I dig it. And he came out of Sonoma State, a small school. And, man, he's had a Hall of Fame career. And, definitely one of the greatest to ever do it. And he played for the 49ers, I think, in 1, maybe 2 seasons. So
I think his last 2 years were with the 49ers.
Yeah, I remember those. So, man, that's a great, Mount Rushmore to have. I'll give you mine. I think you probably already know. But, the GOAT, Jerry Rice, Joe Montana. I'll put Ronnie Lott and then Steve Young. Those would be my 4 of the entire franchise that I'll put up. But I appreciate having you on today, man. It's been a pleasure. I definitely will reach out to you on Sunday. We'll see what happens with the game.
Yeah.
Let's see. Terry says Dez. So this is his Mount Rushmore. He's got Dez, he's got Michael Irvin, Emmett, and Troy. Okay.
And he's a Niners fan, so I don't take any credence into what he says. That's one of my guys, though. And Terry, I did play offensive line, so I'm always gonna go that way first.
Oh yeah. I mean, Dez, there's no doubt. Dez Bryant had his great years with the Cowboys for sure, with him and Romo. But Larry Allen, he's one of the greatest to ever do it. There's no doubt. Sean Tuber says this is going to be a close game. Whoever scores last will win. Okay.
Yeah.
I can see that.
Oh, before we get out of here, how's you guys field goal kicker?
Robbie Gold. During the season, I have referred to him as Robbie Bronze from time to time, but I think that's an overreaction of myself, because kind of like with offensive linemen, offensive lineman could have 50 snaps in a game, right? He could give up 2 sacks, but he could play great, on all the other snaps. And you notice the 2 sacks he gave up. So Robbie Gould, he's been pretty accurate. I want to say, without looking at his stats, he's only missed like 2 or 3 maybe field goal kicks.
Okay.
And Robbie Gould punted last week because Mitch Wisnowski got knocked out due to concussion. He punted last week. He made all his kicks last week. So, hey, I'm Robbie Gould. His stock is rising. So
we don't have that luxury.
How's your kicking situation?
Not good.
Not good.
I think our kicker has missed the extra point the last 3 out of 4 weeks, if I'm not mistaken, or 3 out of 5, and he's been consistently missing field goals also. So that's another concern for me. That's why I say it's a coin flip, because it may come down to him, and it might not be good. And I've seen a lot of people predicting 27-24, because they think he's going to miss an extra point. So that's kind of how bad it is. Yeah, I don't even call him Greg the Leg anymore.
Hey, we'll see, man, because field goal kicking will be, I think, a crucial part, just as in special teams as well. And I'm definitely looking forward to kickoff. I can't wait. I'm counting down the hours. But man, it's been a pleasure having you on today. For those that don't know Bluff City Cowboys, let them know what to expect from your YouTube channel. What type of content do you provide? And let them know why they should subscribe to you and check you out on your social media platform.
All right, man. Well, first of all, I really appreciate you allowing me to join your podcast this week. I'm all about collaborating and finding out stuff from the other team, from other guys who follow that team. So this is a great time. Both times that you've been on my show, I've been on yours. Definitely appreciate it.
Absolutely.
The Cowboy Zone, if you guys could tell from listening to me, I try to be objective in everything I do. I try not to keep the fan hat on too much. So if you watch the Cowboy Zone, you're always going to get an objective thought about my team. I'm a huge football guy, so I watch a lot of other teams as well. I'm also a very big draft guy. So if you guys are looking for somewhere to go during the offseason to find out about some of the players that you hear thrown out on national media in the first round, or if you want to go deeper into the 100s to the 200s level, check me out in the Cowboy Zone, because I do a lot of in-depth research on the guys that are drafted. Now, I'm going to put my Cowboy spin on it, but you're still going to learn a lot about some of the top players coming out. So that'll pretty much take me through the offseason. And then, of course, next year, if you check out your schedule and you see there's a team you guys are playing, if you don't want to check out that team's podcast, if we play them, come find me on the Cowboy Zone, and I'll give you all the information you want on some of your opponents coming up.
Hey, sounds good, man. And the pleasure's all mine, man. I appreciate you for coming on my show. It's been a blast. Had a pleasure. And I have subscribed to your YouTube channel, and I can guarantee, if I had my say, this will not be the last collaboration between us. Hopefully we play. I know the schedule has come out. I don't know. I can't remember if we play the Cowboys next year, but if we do, definitely be reaching out to you again so we can link up again. But man, you have a great rest of your weekend, and shout out to everyone in the chat today. It was a lively chat. And we always appreciate the input from the chat, man. Love having you guys involved with the show.
And if you need anything draft related, Jay, let me know. I can come back on. We can just talk draft stuff.
Draft players. Hey, because I will definitely do that, because draft is not my forte. That's something that I have to add. That's something I have to add to the J and the Bay YouTube channel. So yeah, and the content will not stop after the Super Bowl. I'll still be doing off-season content and whatever. And of course, you guys have a first-round pick this year?
We do, yeah.
Okay. And the Niners, we don't. So
oh wow.
Yeah.
How did you lose your first-round pick?
Well, we traded it away to get trade area. Yeah. So but obviously the draft, that's how you build the team. You can't spend all your money in the salary cap. So draft is still very important. But yeah, hey, that's definitely a good reason for us to link up again and collab on the show. I can give you some names that the 49ers may be rumored to be drafting or interested in, and we can talk about it and go from there, man. That sounds good to me.
Early teaser. If you guys need corners, this is a great draft to get one or two. Great draft.
You know what? That's a great point. we drafted 2, Ambry and Lenore, and we got Hufanga.
I love Hufanga out of USC.
Yeah, and you might see him. I think he'll be playing. He should be ready to go, maybe on special teams and maybe in a few defensive series. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we got another corner, because I think every corner we have is a free agent except Emmanuel Mosley and the rookies we drafted. So we might get some more, at least another corner in this draft. I wouldn't be surprised. I would welcome it. I would welcome it for sure. But man, been a pleasure. Have a great weekend. We will be in touch tomorrow, man, for sure.
Sure, yeah.
And make sure you check out Bluff City Cowboys YouTube, IG, Twitter. All their social media links are in the description, man. And you have a good rest of your day, man. I appreciate it.
All right, man. You too.
All right. And that was Bluff City Cowboys, man. Had a blast with him, man. He's very knowledgeable, represents his Dallas Cowboys well, and he is objective. I would say he is very objective. He's not Homer. But man, I can't wait till we link up again. And I will be ending the show very shortly, but I will have a pregame live stream, of course, tomorrow at 11:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. We'll get into the 49ers and Cowboys matchup again. And of course, I will have a post-game live stream as well. But everyone have a great rest of your day. Enjoy your weekend. Enjoy the game tomorrow. Young Hitter, appreciate you for coming through to the stream. He says, great stream, everyone. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Go Niners. Terry says, Jimmy G over Trey Lance, but I digress. Yeah, I mean, hey, Jimmy G will be under center. I'm rooting for him. John says, can we trade Jimmy for a second-round pick? I think if Jimmy continues to play well and we continue to win in the playoffs, the sky is the limit, John. The sky is the limit, because there will be several teams that will want a starting quarterback. You know, the Saints, the Giants, the Steelers, the Broncos, just to name a few. And all of them, hey, they could use the services of a Jimmy Garoppolo. But I appreciate everyone for tuning in to the stream today. Shout out to JKS and Blue True for the super chats. And everyone else, have a great day. And thanks for watching your boy, J in the Bay. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Go Niners.